brother, always Everything With Yung Squalla podcast. And this is the place where we discuss everything, always. And that's always going to be the case. We can do businesses, highlight businesses, men, women in business. We're going to highlight social issues. We're going to talk about panel discussions. Anything you want to talk about, mermaids, fish, I don't care. We're going to talk about it on here. That's what we do. As always, and as always, when I'm Dolo, I got my co-host, Miss who? Mary who? Matt, nigga. Miss Mary Matt. And once again, we are smoking gas out of glass, and that's all we do. But today's episode, something y'all been looking forward to. Well, y'all may have been looking forward to. For all of y'all who follow my story time, this is The Man and the Mouse Part 2. Yes, there will be a Part 3. Yes, there will be a Part 4. And yes, there will be a Part 5. I don't know if I'm going to get to Part 6 if I don't finish it. Because, like I told y'all, I'm doing all the stories in chronological order from here on out. The Man, the Witch, that was all out of order. It fits into the story, but it's later on. Like, the Man and the Mouse come way before the Man, the Goddess, and all that shit. It's way before that. Like, way before that. The only reason the Man was fucking with the Goddess, the Witch, is because he couldn't fuck with the Mouse. But we gonna get into that. We gonna get into all of that. Just stay tuned for the Man and the Mouse. Yeah, I know y'all see my phone. I got the notes. I wrote it down. True story. Names have been misconstrued, like I done told y'all, but this is a true story. Very true. Not exaggerated or elaborated. Nothing was dramatized. This is it. Well, let's go. So we left off, part 1, we left off. The man thought he had a date with Terry. Kind of find out his man's Tony had a date with Terry. Let's pick up where we left off. So like I said, the man thought he had a date with Terry. He really thought that. He told his mother all type of shit done happened. So the man opens up the door. Terry is looking at him. Tony is looking at him. He had a date with Terry, and Terry done pulled up to his house with his mans. Holy shit. It got ill immediately in part 2. So Tony at the door, he looking at the man like, nigga, I mean, he got this smug grin on his face. Terry looking like, well. The man looking like, you motherfuckers. Y'all could have told me this shit on the phone. Y'all ain't even had to come here to announce this. But to be told, they really didn't know how to tell the man that they had clicked up. So the only way they felt like they could tell the man that they clicked up was to show the man that they had clicked up. And they did just that, for sure. They definitely did that. All the man could do was shake his head. That's all he could do. Even though they had their rule. Now, I told y'all, part 1, the guys had the rule. If you can take her, you can have her. And then see, this rule has now backfired on the man. Because he used to be Mr. Steal Your Girl. As a matter of fact, he was still Mr. Steal Your Girl. But the man had true, like, real feelings for Terry. This was it. Like, he really liked that girl. Even though they had that slogan, this shit hurt the man. Like, this shit hurt that nigga. He was feeling this shit. This is the time that the young man could recall his real very first heartbreak. Maybe it might not be that deep, but definitely for sure a letdown. The young man was mortified. If y'all don't know what that means, I mean embarrassed. He was mortified because he told his mother he had a date. Now he got to go back and tell her he don't got a date. Uh, it was just a lot, yo. The young man took this on the chin, though. He took it on the chin, forgave them both. Look at this. Forgave them both. And he remained real good friends with Tony. But he noticeably distanced himself from Terry. Noticeably, noticeably distanced himself from Terry. And everybody who knew them, they noticed it. Like, he wouldn't, like, she would be coming somewhere and he would leave if he knew she was coming. She would be somewhere and he wouldn't come if he knew she was there. Like, the nigga would literally be out cooling, hanging with niggas. Oh, Terry about to pull up. Oh, I'm about to dip. Fuck away from this bitch. He ain't want nothing to do with her. Like, real shit. He would pull, he would leave. Like, if he heard she was coming, he would leave. Like, and I told you, I was there for some of this shit. I know, I seen it happen. I ain't telling you who my character in the story is because we don't mention every character that was there. We only mention the important characters. But everybody who knew them, they knew what was going on. They knew that there was tension, and they noticed that this shit. He ain't want nothing to do with it. But he also knew that it'll be a matter of time before Tony fucked everything up because Tony was a dog. We already talked about that. Tony was a womanizer. Tony fucked all the hoes. Now let's not get it twisted. The man also fucked all the hoes. But this nigga really liked Terry. Like, he would never dare cross Terry like that. The man was just as much a dog as Tony was. Like, it's crazy. The man had slightly more soft spot for the females. Da da da. Well, whatever. But the man knew Tony would fuck it up. And the time will come. Just hold on. The young man and Tony, when it came to the females, they were kind of one and the same. Like, the only difference is the young man, he definitely knew that he wanted a wife and kids and all that shit one day. Like, he knew that that's what he needed in life. I apologize. Y'all keep saying me pull my phone. Because I don't want y'all to see that shit. Motherfuckers be complaining about my audio and my videos sometimes. So I'm trying to get better. The more complaints I get, the better I get. So feel free, complain. Tell me what the fuck I'm doing wrong. Because I want to be better. Way better. So even though the man knew that Tony would fuck it up, and even though the man had real feelings for Terry, like real feelings, he accepted the fact that they was together. He did not try to interfere. He let it go however it went. But also during this time, now Tony and Terry was together for about maybe 2 years, give or take, something like that. But during this time, the young man and Terry settled their differences. You know, like they got over it. Well, he got over it. Like she didn't really have an issue with him. He had an issue with her. He got over it. he stopped leaving when she was coming. I guess, I don't know, but some type of way, they got back cool, even though Tony and Trey were still together. And yes, the man hated every bit of this shit. Every fucking bit of it, he hated it, even to this day, as a grown man. Now, back then, it was in high school. Remember that. As a grown man, this nigga still has resentment for that situation. There was never no beef about it, but there's definitely some resentment. Definitely. So, whatever. Let's get back to the story. Tony and Terry had their 2-year relationship. Da 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 da. They settled their differences. The man and Terry. And in the midst of them settling their differences, they would spend time together. They adopted the title best friends. Best friends. They even had a slogan. Best friend bond is too strong. This slogan came about because other people amongst the two circles could see Terry had her circle, Tony had his circle. The man was a part of Tony's circle. These circles, they didn't really clash. They didn't really blend. I mean, certain people got along with certain people, but that was that. But a lot of people didn't want to see the man and Terry becoming friends and being that close at all. So people would try to fuck it up. The bond was too strong. So they said, fuck, nigga, our bond is too strong. We best friends till the end. And that's what it was. Forever. Like, that's what the fuck it was. They said they vowed to let nothing, absolutely nothing, ruin their friendship. And for a long time, a very long time, that's what it was. There did come a time where that's not the case, but that's more part 5, maybe 6. We'll get there. But yeah, while still in a relationship with Tony, Terry would often call the man to vent about Tony and how he had all these different women, fucking all these bitches. And the man couldn't understand why she just didn't leave Tony and come fuck with him. Because he clearly told her many times about how he would treat her right. He expressed all his feelings. He told how much she meant to him, constantly courted her, constantly came through whenever she needed. Even though Tony, even when Tony never would come through, he would come through. Like, Tony would come through sometimes, but there were some times when Tony didn't come through. But there was never a time where the man didn't come through for this girl. Like it's crazy because there's times where she was stranded. She needed a ride. Who you gonna call? The young man. She ain't called Tony. Why? Because at the time, Tony was not on wheels. Tony used to also call the young man if he needed a ride. Like, it's cool. That's what friends are for. But what I'm saying is, the point I'm trying to make is, he was dead for this girl 100% of the time. Like, there was not a time where he told her no type shit. And that was not his girl. Remember, she kind of snaked him out to be with his man. Like, not snaked them, but they wasn't straight up. You know? And I was there. I know what happened. So he never tried to make her feel bad about it or nothing. Like, he would just be a friend, a shoulder to lean on, company, somebody to talk to, you know? But there was a time where a young man got an opportunity to really try to prove himself worthy. Like, yeah, you can be mine, and I can do that for you. Like, yeah. Now, it wasn't the first time, really, but it was damn sure wasn't the last time. But this is probably the most notable time because he got very far. This time. Like he damn near got it. But let me tell you what happened. So he got this opportunity. Now, this road is gonna be winding and bumping. I'm talking to the audience now. It's gonna be crazy. Story is gonna take all types of crazy ass turns. Now I need you to really listen to me. Bear with me. Listen. Try to follow on best to your best of your ability. Because I know. So basically, here we go. Back to the story. One day, Terry calls the man. She's hysterical. She's crying. He can't understand what she's talking about. She, you know how people talk when they crying and shit. She's on that shit. So he's trying to calm her down, like, yo, be easy, slow down, say what you gotta say. I'm listening. I'm here. I'm listening. What's going on? So still, it's still all of that, but he could kind of hear, boom. Basically, they broke up. Her and Tony broke up. Now, the details of the breakup, who, what, when, where, why, I really don't know what happened. But I know that this is a story I'm telling. So naturally, he likes this girl. He's like, yes. At the same time, he likes this girl. He cares. He don't want to see her crying and shit. Like, so he's gonna be the friend. Like, he's not the nigga, oh, you ain't need that nigga, no way, da 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 da. He's like talking to her. Like, that's it. He's not, you should have been with me. None of that. He's been a friend. So, boom, he felt sorry for her. He was relieved that she was now single, of course, but he felt sorry for her. The man got in his truck, his Honda truck, without hesitation. Without hesitation, he went and picked her up, took her anywhere she wanted to go that day. He bought her anything she wanted to eat that day. He bought her anything that day. He bought her a snake, a pet snake. Can you believe it? He bought her a whole animal. Just because she said, I want a snake, I want a snake. So that's what the fuck, he got her a snake. Them niggas went to the pet store and bought a snake. The spirit of the moment, bought an exotic pet. You see what I'm saying? So you see what time he was on as far as she was concerned. And I'm gonna let you know, it wasn't like that with every girl. It wasn't like that with no other girl. I told you, nigga was just as much the dog as Tony was. Nigga was fucking hoes, taking bitches, inviting all his bitches to the same party just to see what would happen. Like the nigga, the man was a wild youngin'. Like there's so many stories, but the Adventures of the Man is about to be the craziest shit y'all ever heard in y'all life. And I can't wait till this show get picked up because this is gonna be a movie. But back to the bit. So he went and picked her up. He went to pick her up. He bought her all that shit. All he wanted to do was see her happy. He wanted to see her stop crying. He wanted to see her smile. Safe to say he succeeded. But it's also safe to say he was a simp for her. He was simping. She with another nigga and he's buying her all type of shit. What's wrong with him? But he kept her company doing all of this time. Like he was her safe space. And she was a little person, but she was a big ball of fire. Like she had endless fire in her. Like the man was really scared to leave her alone because he thought she was gonna do something to herself or somebody. So he took her to work with him. I don't know if that's kidnapping or whatever, but he took her to work. Hey, he did that. Like, I don't know. He might have been tricked. But he took her to work. She stayed there his whole shift. But it worked in his favor because she tried to thank him for this shit. She knew she could always count on him. And she knew exactly how he felt. She started to have similar feelings. So even though they weren't together, they kind of made a unofficial relationship, something like that. They even talked about that shit and came up with that name, unofficial relationship. That's what it was. So like this event did a couple things, meaning like the breakup, the consolement. That's caused a domino effect. So they grew hella closer together. Not glue, but they might as well be glue. They grew hella closer together, almost like they were stuck like glue. So they grew closer. As they grew closer, he gave her a nickname. And because of her size, he was calling her Minnie. That's what he was calling her. He was calling her Minnie. And over time, Minnie turned into Minnie Mouse. Now you have the man and the mouse. Tune in for part 3. I love y'all, motherfuckers, man. Please keep watching my show. Please keep listening on whatever platform you're listening on. Please give me all the reviews, good or bad. I need to know. I need to make my show better. Let me know. Comment, like, dislike. I see it. Tell me why you dislike it. Like, I'm trying to let me know. I do guest reviews. Everybody say I'm good. I need some feedback, man. But hit like, dislike, subscribe, because I'm gonna get better. Trust me. It's gonna get better. If it's not good right now, trust me, it's gonna get better. And if it's good right now, if you like it right now, it's gonna get better. You hear what I'm saying? It's gonna get better. This story is gonna get better. Please tune in for part 3 of The Man in the Mouse. And we out.